Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Tuesday, March the 10th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, Matt Robinson, Tuesday NHL slate. A baker's dozen of games tonight in the NHL, 13 games. 3 of them will be available to a national audience in the United States. There's an ESPN Plus game tonight, and then there's the TNT doubleheader, which is Islanders Blues, followed by Oilers and Avs. Both of those games on TNT, so a big night of action. Lots of good games, lots of meaningful games. Great spots, I think, from a betting standpoint. I think this is a very, very strong betting card, which I'm very happy about, considering I didn't think it was a great card last night, and the results basically bared that out. It was the first down night for me in quite some time, but we'll recap what we saw yesterday. The bright part of the night for me was the Ranger-Flyer game. We did have over by Fekta in that game. And how about the New York Rangers springing to life offensively last night against Philadelphia, and a guy in Dan Vladar that had been playing some pretty good hockey. 6-2 Rangers. They get the job done over the Flyers in that game. They end up chasing Vladar from the net. Ersson had to finish that game after, but a 6-2 victory for the New York Rangers. You know what? The Rangers have shown a little life here the last few games, and certainly offensively, we've seen them start to score more goals. Still don't really trust them consistently on the defensive end of the ice, but it was a good win for them there, 6-2 against the Flyers. LA with a big win. I should have started there. That was the first game, the afternoon affair, the rescheduled game. Kings 5-4 over the Blue Jackets. Nice win for LA and for DJ Smith's team. And again, another over involving the LA Kings. Now 4-0 to the over since the coaching change. Just playing at a different pace, different speed. Obviously more offensive-minded in their approach. They've been able to score some goals. They're giving up goals still, which continues to be an issue. But the Kings were able to outscore their defensive issues yesterday. A nice 5-4 win over the Blue Jackets. Scott Laughton gets another goal for LA, so that's goals in back-to-back games for him since he arrived in LA after that trade with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was a good outing from the Kings. Kempe had 2 goals, including the overtime winner. I didn't think it was one of Jet Greaves' better games. I thought that was kind of a weak goal that went in on him from Kempe in overtime. Got a piece of it, but not enough. But LA with a 5-4 win, so we split there. We had Columbus at a price before the line move, and then the over, so we'll take it, the split there in that game. Washington opening up a can on Calgary, 7-3. Well, in the third period they did. They went up 3-0. Calgary actually tied it 3-3, and then Washington with 4 unanswered goals in the third to put it away 7-3 over the Calgary Flames. Devin Cooley was in net for all 6 goals, and the reason for that, why Ryan Huska probably didn't make a goalie change, is because they're playing tonight against the New York Rangers, saving Dustin Wolf for the back-to-back. But Washington, much needed, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Still have work to do on the outside looking in, but needed to win that against a team like Calgary, and they were able to do so. Alex and his Blackhawks, man, 3-2. Nice win for them last night against the Utah Mammoth after falling behind 1-0 in the first. Andrew Mangiapane gets us a goal for the Chicago Blackhawks. Gunther gives them the lead, but Burakovsky ties it, and Frank Nazar on the power play to win it in overtime for the Chicago Blackhawks, a 3-2 win over Utah. That was the one thing I was worried about with Utah. Playing very good hockey, undefeated on the road trip, but the final game, sometimes on a very successful road trip, that's the spot where you get tripped up. And Utah definitely did get tripped up, but get credit to Chicago. I thought Drew Commesso pretty solid. 2 goals against, 23 saves on 25 shots for him. I'll tell you what, I preferred him more than Soderblom. I can tell you that. So nice performance from Commesso, getting the start with Spencer Knight still away due to illness. And then the night ended with, really a dull game. I mean, it really was. Ottawa, Vancouver. I expected certainly more offensive fireworks than that. Over by Fekta, Ottawa team total. They all fell short. But Ottawa did what they had to do. It wasn't pretty, but they got the 2 points they needed to against one of the bottom feeders. A 2-0 shutout win for the Ottawa Senators. And it's bad for Vancouver when James Reimer comes into town and puts up the shutout against you. But, took care of business, did what they had to do, Ottawa, getting that 2-0 win. Yeah, one of the worst Amazon Prime games I've heard in a long time. I think the highlight of the game was listening to Adnan Virk, the host of the studio coverage, and Michael Bublé do a duet during the intermission. They started singing together. Actually, Adnan Virk, I didn't know he had a fucking voice, singing voice. He's actually pretty good, pretty decent singer, the guy. I did not see that one coming, but that was the entertaining part of the whole broadcast, which tells you how bad that game was from an entertainment standpoint. Alex, your thoughts on what we saw Monday night?
Yeah, like I said, it was a lot of interesting games and a lot of high scoring affairs. We've been seeing the overs really chipping in, and I wasn't going to touch that Rangers Flyers over with a 10-foot pole, honestly, because we know how the Rangers can be so hit and miss offensively. Flyers have been struggling offensively. Did not expect that the bulk of those goals would come from the Rangers, but like I said, they're at the team to look out for as far as overs now moving forward. Whether it's them scoring, which seems to be kind of the rarer case, or them playing a little bit more lackadaisical defensively. And same thing with LA now, 4-0, as you mentioned, to the over. That's something we have to continue to ride. And these teams that are either in the mix to try and get a wild card spot or out of the race, I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more of lapses defensively. So that's going to create some over chances for sure. That Hawks game, misread it a little bit. Like I said, did have Nazar anytime goal, but I went with the bargain bin of Nazar first goal. I thought he was going to really, and he did actually chip out and get a couple of chances in that first power play at the beginning of the game. Soon as they took the first TV timeout, which of course was the TV timeout where they were honoring Troy Murray, Utah gets on the board, and it seemed like that was just kind of where okay, maybe this Hawks team, maybe they're not going to have their spirits in it. But like you said, Utah has kind of they've struggled against the Hawks. I don't know for whatever reason it is. They have been a bad matchup, and the Hawks were able to come back from that 1-0, get Mangiapane with the goal bouncing off of him. They were down 2-1. They were able to fight back. Andre Burakovsky with his first goal in 19 games. A guy that you couldn't find with a telescope for pretty much the entire month of February and even going back to January. But now here he is getting on the board, and then Frankie gets that game winner. How perfect is that? Number 91 scoring on the night when they're honoring number 19. It doesn't get any better than that. And that's a good win for the Hawks. Build confidence, like I said, especially with a young goalie like Drew Commesso getting another solid win. That's a terrible loss for Utah. And I mentioned it, before we went into the break, and I said about Chicago, I said, well, their chances of being a wild card team are over. But they can play spoiler with some of these teams that are in their own division and own conference. And the way that they've kind of maybe potentially spoiled things for Utah, I mean, obviously there's still games left in hand, but if it comes down to 2 or 3 points and Utah's on the outside of it, you can directly blame Chicago and that Soderblom shutout and this game where they had 2 leads and blew it on the road. So now we'll see. And Utah plays tonight. This will be the end of their road trip. So now we'll see how do they bounce back after having a good road trip, then getting tripped up, and now on the second night of the back-to-back to end the road trip. Maybe they can try and salvage something, compared to what they have happened last night.
I still think it was a great road trip for Utah, but they did still get a point out of last night. But yeah, you would have wanted 2 in that situation, especially when the team just beat your ass pretty handily in Utah just recently. A loss that was so bad your coach called you out. But that was the disappointing part of it. But they still get, I think, on that trip, what did they get? 2, 4, 7 out of 8 points in the 4 games. So pretty good. And now they're in a nice spot. They've created some separation between them and the second wild card, currently being held by Seattle. So that was the positive of the great road trip for Utah. Matt,
you're not supposed to be losing. You're not supposed to be losing to second string and third string goalies of teams that are out of the race when you're still trying to keep pace in the playoff.
That's the bad part of that loss. And Rich throws on another log to the fire there, why it might be a bad loss too. Chicago was on a back-to-back and 3rd and 4 nights too, and Utah still unable to win that game. Matt, how did it go for you last night?
Light for me, not too much to add. I did have one premium play on the over in the Kings Jackets game, which interestingly enough, I hadn't even looked at the timing of puck drop to see that was an afternoon game. So I
should have made that
kind of looking over
that, but it was an afternoon game. Kind of made me a little uncertain, a little queasy that it would maybe be a low scoring. But no, these LA games, man, good call. It's flying over.
Yeah, it's really been. I mean, Columbus has been a pretty reliable over team throughout the year, but LA lately was really what pushed that over. And I was just at the gym checking the the night card to see if there was anything I liked. It wasn't a great card from my viewpoint, as far as I didn't love really anything. But I popped in and it was already 3-2 in the second period of that game. So, or maybe it was 2-2 still, but either way, I felt pretty good about that one, getting over the total. So, so that was a nice hit. Again, pretty light card. Don't have a ton to add, and I know we've got a big 13-game slate, so I won't delay the inevitable for the chat that wants to get into tonight's card.
All right. Yeah, I know they're always antsy, the chat. Every day it's like, can we get to the picks? Can we get to the picks? Trust me, we will get to the picks. We always do. Every single game in depth. But we'd like to do a little recap of the night before. So how do the bets go? How do the games go? Talk about what happened. We like to analyze here on this show, as you guys know. And we're going to analyze not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 12, but 13 games on this Tuesday NHL card. And we will begin with Columbus and Tampa Bay. We've got the Lightning minus 240, home favorites. The total 6.5 here, pretty much across the board. So I'm going to say it right now, right off the top. I'm fading both teams on the card tonight coming off the ice war. And of course, by that, I'm referencing Tampa Bay and Buffalo. I'm fading them early is what I mean specifically. I'm on Columbus first goal, first period. Columbus first period money line here in this game. I don't know if they win the game, but Columbus, and it is back-to-back for the Jackets, but it was an afternoon game yesterday against Los Angeles. Not to mention, I think here on the back-to-back that we're going to see Elvis Merzlikins in net tonight for the Blue Jackets, and he's kind of dipped a little bit if you watch him play the last couple starts after really getting red hot when Rick Bowness first took over as head coach. But I think they can pounce on Tampa early. I think Tampa Bay could be a little slow out of the gate, a little bit out of the chute here. So I'm going to sprinkle on the money line too with Columbus, but more of my investment's going to be early with the Blue Jackets. First period money line, and especially first goal, first period here in this game against Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay, now the injuries too. Coming out of that Buffalo game, it's worth noting, Chernak is out, Darren Radish is out, and Emil Lilleberg is out on the blue line. So here we go again. Just when Tampa Bay was starting to get back to full health, here they are with 3 starting defensemen out all over again tonight for this game. And Radish has been great. And obviously you're talking about Lilleberg again out. And now, of course, also Chernak, who's one of their better physical, stay-at-home, shut-down defensemen. And like I said, that's concerning. Yeah, it's with Radish, it's not an injury. It's it's a personal matter for him. But yeah, 3 starting defensemen out is not ideal. I think it's a tough spot. It's certainly a spot where I think that's minus 240. We know Tampa Bay's struggle. Another thing too is, yes, they beat Toronto, but still that's 1 win in their last 4 or 5 games. I think Columbus pounces early, has a chance to win the game. I'm going to go smaller on the full game money line here with Columbus, but more so with Columbus early here. First period, first goal, first period of first period money line on Columbus. And if the price drops just a little bit further in game, because I will bet the first goal, just Columbus to get a goal, I should say, in the first period. Right now, that price just a little bit too high, I believe, right now. So we're just going to wait just slightly into the beginning of the game to bet that live. Like minus 145 is what I'm seeing with that. I'm just going to wait just like a minute or two, and I'll be able to get like minus 120 on that Jackets goal in the first period, and I will take that as well. All right, Alex, what do you think here? Columbus, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Looking for first goal, first period with Columbus, Tampa, and even Buffalo for that matter. When you have a game as crazy and chaotic like that, there could just be a little bit of hangover early. But, Tampa Bay is one of those teams, all right, you punch them in the mouth early, they wake up. So I like the draw here. I think this is a crazy price, plus 370 over at Bet Online. Wow. Usually don't see those draw prices anymore. So I had to jump all over that, grab that early today. But I will add on plus 175 with Columbus to score first goal, first period. You can even get a plus 125 Columbus first goal of the game right now at Bet Online as well. So
Yeah, no question. That is definitely something to keep in mind. By the way, Columbus, a lot of overs. Talked about when Rick Bowness first got there, they were trending under, and now all of a sudden, they've gone 4-2 to the over. Tampa Bay's back-to-back overs. It's a strong over series history. I'm going to wait, see if I get a 5.5 on this, but I do lean over here. What do you think, Matt? Columbus, Tampa Bay.
This is a prime Matty Rob special game. We got a total at over 6.5. I'm going to be on over 1.5, 5.5. Should get it right around plus money. I think, I agree. I think Columbus should jump out early in this one. When you score 7 goals in a game and you lose, there's fights left and right. It can be a little bit tough to, get rolling for the next game, but I do think a Columbus goal here would wake Tampa up. And I wouldn't be shocked if Tampa, does score first and Columbus bounces back. So just need 2 in the first and then 6 in the total. That'll be my only plays on this one.
Marchman, Olivier, and Connor Garland. I'm going to take him to score for Columbus. And we have to bet Corey Perry for Tampa Bay. 2 games with Tampa Bay, 2 goals for Corey Perry of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Great price, too, for Corey Perry. Looking to make it 3 goals in 3 games as a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Close to plus 400 is what 420, plus 420 at the Ontario book. Batano. So, yeah, it's pretty obvious we got to take him right now. He's obviously found great footing already. Returning to the Tampa Bay Lightning. All right, Detroit, Florida. Minus 110 both sides, 5.5 the total. Florida off a road trip. Florida banged up. Brad Marchand ruled out indefinitely. Sam Reinhart's out tonight. Rapid revenge for Detroit. Detroit's actually, in my mind, played a little bit better on the road lately than they have at home. They beat Nashville, New Jersey the last 2 times they were on the road the last couple of weeks. Like I said, they just lost at home to Florida on Friday night when they did those ceremonies before the game. I like how this sets up. Gibson over Tarasov in net is an advantage for Detroit. Tarasov confirmed for Florida. I like Detroit here in a revenge spot, short turnaround, minus 110. See if we can cash 2 in a row with the Red Wings after we had them as best bet material Sunday in their shutout win against New Jersey. Alex, what do you think here, Detroit, Florida?
Yeah, I was looking to see if I like team total too, but no, I'm just gonna go just straight money line, $1.10 with Detroit. Like I said, this is just a spot where we're starting to see Florida kind of fall apart. Marchand's going to be out. We're now probably going to start seeing guys who need, any kind of long-term, absence time. If they need surgeries, we're going to start seeing those guys taking that time now. Start seeing call-ups coming up at some point. So, Florida's in there kind of in the run, and of course Detroit, right in the thick of things. So, take what the books give you with this price, $1.10 cheap. Back to the Red Wings.
Yeah, I agree. Red Wings here for me. Red Wings, to me, there's going to be spots to fade them, but I looked at this road trip as a chance for them get a couple wins. They didn't like the way they played against Vegas and Florida at home. You could beat New Jersey. You're better than them. Now you got Florida in a revenge spot. I expect them to play well tonight. And Florida, again, the injuries are still a big problem right now. So, yeah, I think it's a good spot here for Detroit. Good price, too. Matt, what do you think here, Red Wings, Panthers?
Yeah, I know we've got a big card. I don't want to sound like a broken record on every game, but I think it's Detroit. Money line is the only play here. I did also take a look at team total. Just getting minus 160 for 2.5. I feel like you could take like an over 3 if you've got MGM and you've got those half options. It's worth a look, but I think, at this price, I just was reading Florida may start doing some quote unquote load management. If they are going to miss the playoffs, they want to ensure they're in that bottom 10, in the lottery eligible teams. They need a high pick, which is funny. 6 months ago, we're talking about potential dynasty level team, and now we're talking about they need a pick in the top 10. But, they've battled injuries. Losing Barkov at the beginning of the year was a big hit to this team. You've got guys in the Olympics. There's just, multiple years in a row going to the Cup Finals. It's just proving that the wear and tear is real. These guys are human. So, Detroit money line here. I think they should go down into Florida and get 2 points in this one.
All right. As far as goal, not as many in the prop department here for me in this game, but I will say as far as this game goes, when you look at it, JVR, has started to pick things up a little bit. I want to make note of that. What a great story. I didn't mention this. This is a guy that's played only a small little number of NHL games. He played against New Jersey on Sunday. He scored a goal. Dominic Shine. This guy's like in his 30s, too. And here he is, and finally gets his first National Hockey League goal into his 30s now, Dominic Shine. You love to see that. It's a guy that's just, kept on not toiling away, but, just pounding the pavement, so to speak, as a professional hockey player, most of it in the minors. He gets a shot with the big club, the Detroit Red Wings, and he's able to score. I think that's just outstanding. Great story for Dominic Shine there, getting a goal for the Red Wings the other night.
And when you look at his career, this guy, he's a true blue Michigan guy, born in Michigan, played with Northern Michigan for 4 years, spent his entire career with the Grand Rapids Griffins, and like I said, now his 14th NHL game to finally get on the board. Those are cool stories. I've always, as someone who watched a lot of minor league hockey growing up, it was always cool to see those veteran guys get that one chance, that final chance when they get called up and actually do something in the NHL. It's always fun to see.
It's always fun indeed. That was great to see. He's in the lineup tonight. It's a lightning strike twice. I don't know if I'll bet it, but it is something to note. He is in the lineup once again here for the Red. And Emmett Finney, I think I might take a shot one more time with him. He's still on the second line. All right, original 6 rivals, Toronto and Montreal back at it. Here tonight, we've got Montreal minus 170, home favorite, 6.5 the total. They usually reserve Toronto-Montreal games all regular season for Saturday. I'm actually very, very surprised we've got a weeknight Toronto-Montreal game. We usually don't see that unless it's opening night of the season. So a rare weeknight during the season, Leafs versus Abs game. Yeah, this is a no-brainer over by Fecta. I mean, who the hell's playing defense with these two teams right now? I mean, Toronto's defensive intensity has gone way into the gutter. They're not stopping anybody. They're not keeping other teams from scoring right now. And Montreal's defensive game has been terrible for how many games in a row now? That road trip, giving up goals left and right to Anaheim, San Jose, the Kings, all of them over the total. Leafs on a 3-0 over streak. Habs on a 5-0 over streak. Roll the puck out and score. I think it'll be a fun game. Defense optional. Although I think Marty St. Louis eventually wants to crack the whip and get this team playing better defensively, but I'm going to have to see it before I believe it. So, yeah, this is definitely over by Fecta. And I'm also going to tack on Montreal team total over 3.5 specifically, because I think they can get 4 on this Toronto team. And the Rangers are lighting up the Leafs last week. Tampa put a 5 spot on them. It's just been, and the defense is just bad right now for the Leafs. And plus, I think the heart to play, you have to have heart. You have to have will. You have to have motivation. You have to have a strong mindset to play defense and block shots and do all those little things every night. And now that the Leafs are out of the playoffs, I'm seeing a lot of those intangibles go right out the window. Not a lot of conviction to play defense with this group right now. Alex, what do you think here? Toronto and Montreal.
Yeah, I'm just plugging it in right now, but I'm doing the old Matty Rob special, over 1.5 in the first period with over 5.5. Minus $1.08 is what I'm getting at FanDuel. I don't mind laying a little price like that. Like I said, with all the over trends here, and like I said, this just definitely feels like a roll the puck out rivalry game. Not always the chippiest between these two, though. It's not like we'll end up seeing a lot of penalties and a lot of power play opportunities, but still, I believe it'll be more wide open hockey than anything else. So knocking that 6.5 down to a 5.5, tying it with that first period over, that's decent within, like I said, $1.08 price that I got at FanDuel. So that's my only play with that.
Joseph Woll, Jakob Dobish, by the way, confirmed as the starting goaltenders. And again, we've seen Woll, his numbers take a hit, 5 goals allowed in each of his last 2 starts. And I don't put the blame on him. I don't think he's been terrible. The Donies in front of him defensively have been terrible. And that's been the issue for Toronto. Matt, I know Alex likes the Matty Rob special. Are you in on that too?
I do like it here. I consider doing an over by Fecta separately and sprinkling on the same game parlay. I think this game just screams goals galore. So we'll see. I'll get a little creative. It may just end up being the same game parlay, and maybe I'll just put a little extra on it. I would definitely make a case for Montreal team total. I think getting to 3.5 or getting to 4 goals is not something I'd be shocked by. But if, given the card, I may stick to just overs on the off chance, Toronto gets to 4 goals and surprises us. So, and we get like a 4-3 overtime game or something like that. But yeah, I think this is going to be a very open skate. So there are some props I'm kind of considering in this game for later. But as far as totals and sides, I'll be on same game parlay and potentially an over by Fecta with them separate at 1.5, 6.5.
There we go. Good stuff. As far as props for this game, because as I expect, we should see goals. The only thing I'm concerned about for Montreal, because I'm on the team total with them, they are off the West Coast, right? It's always a tricky spot. It can be a tricky spot coming off a West Coast road trip for Montreal. I gave some thought to Toronto first goal, first period, but I don't know if I trust Toronto enough to pull the trigger on that. It's a good first goal, first period spot usually to go against a team like Montreal in this spot off a West Coast road trip back home, but I don't know if I can trust Toronto enough to get that first goal of the first period. That being said, Dobish did have issues giving up an early goal earlier in the season. He's been a little bit better at that lately, but I still might put a couple bucks, pizza money only, on that Leaf first goal, first period. But then as far as a goal, I got to bet Michelli now. I mean, that's now 3 straight games with a goal for Matias Michelli for Toronto. We'll try to ride the wave with that. Slavkovsky on the top line. I thought he's played really well since being moved up there. That's definitely a goal prop worth a look as well for the Montreal Canadiens in this game tonight. Caulfield has had great success against the Leafs. Josh Anderson, I'm going to go to Josh Anderson here. Josh Anderson has scored in 38% of Montreal's games against Toronto, and he has been a Leaf killer at times over the years. So I know he's down on the fourth line now with Deneau and Gallagher, but we'll dabble in the Josh Anderson goal prop that the success against Toronto maybe can continue. All right, Calgary Flames, New York Rangers, back-to-back for both teams. They were both in action last night. Calgary losing in Washington, and the Rangers putting the boots to the Flyers last night. Rangers minus 130, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. When's the last time the Rangers have won 2 games in a row? I always say that about the New York Rangers. Every freaking time we talk about this team and the season they've had, that they're just stringing wins together and withstanding prosperity all year has been a chore for this hockey team. And you look at just since the break, they beat Pittsburgh, they lose to Columbus. They beat Toronto, they lose to New Jersey. They're just not a team I'm interested in, A, as a favorite, and B, off a win. They just don't put wins together. Give me Calgary here, plus 110 with Wolf over Quick. Little advantage. Quick has only played once since the Olympic break, and he got lit up by Jersey, 5 goals in that game. Calgary off a blowout loss. I do think they'll play with some spirit tonight coming off a game like that. Don't trust the Rangers to win 2 in a row. Calgary plus 110. I'll dabble in that Calgary team total over. And I'm going to go over by Fecta here. I keep saying this with the Rangers. They're an over machine right now. And there's some real concerning defensive numbers showing up for Calgary. They're giving up way more expected goals and chances and just way more open ice and real estate since 3 things have happened to Calgary to make them a weaker defensive team the last month. They traded away Rasmus Anderson. They traded away Mackenzie Weegar. That's 2 of their better blue liners. And now they traded away just before the deadline Nazem Kadri, who's a good defensive center. And he can score, obviously. He's a good offensive player, but he's really good defensively. And so all of that has contributed to Calgary being a much more vulnerable defensive team. And that's why moving forward, it's going to be, I think, much more difficult for the Dustin Wolf, Devin Cooley tandem in net, because I think it's a much weaker defensive team, Calgary, post-trade deadline. So I think there's goals here as well. Alex, what do you think? Flames and Rangers.
So I like over by Fecta, but I'm playing first period over pregame, minus 122. I'm waiting for that over. I'm saying over 5.5 at minus 132 at FanDuel. I'm going to wait for that to drop. I think there'll be enough time. And the fact that I don't talk about this enough, when we look at over by Fecta's live, obviously the mode of attack is usually grab first period over and then full game over in that order, because we tend to see those numbers drop in that order. The fact that you're betting first, at least for me, betting first period over pregame gives you enough time to where you can wait a little bit longer for that full game over. You don't have to necessarily grab minus 110. Like, this is one where I will probably try and sit as long as I can to grab and waiting for that plus money territory to jump in and grab that 5.5. But I do like the over by Fecta. I do like Calgary. I actually got 115 this morning on the money line. Like I said, just off of average of playing Dustin Wolf against Jonathan Quick. The prices that added up for me. No way you can lay a price with the Rangers at home. And like you said, off of a big win as well. That's usually a red flag to go against them. So Calgary on the money line, over by Fecta, but bet the first period over pregame and try and wait as long as you can for some plus money on that 5.5 in game.
Dear God, it's worse than I thought. It's 0-7 for the New York Rangers off a win. 0-7 for the New York Rangers off a win. Yeah, that's I knew right away. When I didn't even look it up, but I knew off the top of my head when I started looking into what am I going to do with this game. I said I can't bet the Rangers off a win. They just don't win 2 games in a row, or it's been a while since it's happened. They're 0-7 the last 7 games in this situation. So yeah, Calgary off a bad loss. Rangers again at home. They're weaker split. They've been a better road team all year than they've been at home. So yeah, it was pretty straightforward to take the Flames here at a plus price. But I think the over by effect is good here as well. Matt, what do you think? Calgary, New York Rangers.
Yeah, this is a rare 5.5 starting game, same game special. So 1.5, 5.5 plus 148. I think we get 2 in the first, and then I think we get to 6 goals. And you just talked me into sprinkling on Calgary money line as well. 0-7 on
They've actually beaten the
after a
Rangers
win
3
is
in a
enough
row
for me.
as well. They've beaten the Rangers 3 straight times.
Yeah, so I'll jump on that as well. But bigger play, same game parlay, and then I'll throw a sprinkle on Calgary money line.
You know what? I will say this too about this game because I do think there'll be some goals. There's actually some good goal props. I can't believe it, but like I said, it's been Blake Coleman, your boy from Plano, Texas. There, Matty. 2 straight games with a goal for him, and plus 370 for him to find the back of the net here. So, like I said, definitely looking at a goal prop for him. I think there's some good value. But Gridden, we got to start riding this Matt Vey Gridden here for Calgary. It's not gritty, by the way. It sounds like it, but it's Gridden here for Calgary. He is getting more ice time now post-trade deadline, and he's had a bunch of chances. He scored in the last game, or last night against Washington. He's been one of their more threatening offensive players lately. You can get plus 450 here for Matt Vey Gridden to find the back of the net here for Calgary. I like the value there, and I kind of like going to the likes of Perreault and Cooley for the Rangers. Especially Gabe Perreault. Gabe Perreault now, 2 of the last 5 he scored. He's getting more comfortable. The price is pretty good, so definitely I think Gabe Perreault is another good goal prop to consider here on the Rangers side in this one tonight. All right, Los Angeles Kings, Boston Bruins. We've got Boston minus 145, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. This Bruins, this is over. I mean, it's just 12 straight at home. Bad loss. Nobody was happy about it against Pittsburgh, blowing multiple leads in that game, the Boston Bruins. I expect a bounce back. They've been a different team all year at home. It's back-to-back on the road for the Kings. So Boston here, this is normal. This is not a price I normally lay. I don't normally love minus 145 favorites, but I laid this price with the Bruins here, minus 145, looking to make it 13 straight home wins. Swayman versus Kemper will be the goaltending matchup. We got Forsberg yesterday for the Kings in that game against the Blue Jackets. And I got to take, I don't know about this spot. I got to just keep betting it, though. At 5.5, anytime it's just auto for me right now with the Kings. It will be over 5.5 for me as well. Now, I'm worried about how well Swayman's played at home. He's been really good at home. Boston's been keeping the goals against down for their opponents at home lately, so that's my concern here with this over, but there's no way I'm jumping off the train with LA 4-0 to the over going into this. So liking that over. I got to bet this draw too. I mean, the Terry put it up in our chat that there's this unbelievably crazy trend of draws and games going past regulation between these two teams overall, but especially in Boston. It's wild. It really is. It's crazy. No pun intended, because Terry mentioned it. But 6 of the last 10 meetings overall have gone past regulation, and 5 straight in Boston at the TD Garden between the Kings and the Bruins have gone past regulation. So it's pretty crazy to see that. So you got to sprinkle on this draw. I don't know. I get the feeling too. Boston wasn't happy about the way that Pittsburgh game went. They figured they felt they should add 2 points. I worry Kings on a back-to-back year. Boston might win by margin, but I'm not going to not bet a draw when the history of these two teams is that strong with it. So 7 straight in Boston have gone past regulation. So Bruins draw over for me. I told you it's going to be a high-volume day. I love this card. Alex, what do you think? Kings, Bruins.
Yeah, all over that draw. I got plus 319 at Bet Online. Of course, shop around. You want to try and get as best of a number as possible, something above plus 300. But I'm also going to go with Bruins to win in overtime. You can get that plus 500 at FanDuel. prop is back. That was gone for the weekend for some reason, but it is back in with most of the games. So Bruins to win an overtime game to go past regulation. Those are my 2 plays here.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been absolutely like I said, it's 12 it's 12 straight as of now, the home win streak, Rich. 12. They're looking for 13 here tonight. Matt, what do you think here, Kings Bruins?
I'll keep it simple and just take the over in this one. I like over 5.5 here. LA, I mentioned it during the recap yesterday. That was kind of what pulled me into that LA Columbus over. Boston's been good at home. LA's playing a little more of a run and gun style, so I'll jump on the over in this one and see if we can't get to 6 goals.
There's a good LJ from H-Town, good friend, but part of the Pub Sports radio crew. Boston first period over, he says, is 10-1 in the last 11 games at home versus Western opponents. Very interesting. Maybe I should turn it into a bifect. Probably will. I probably will turn it into a bifecta here rather than just go. Rather than just put it all on the over 5.5. As far as props for this Kings and Bruins game, I mean, Scott Laughton, why not? I mean, 2 games with the Kings, 2 goals, plus 450. He's clearly found some rhythm right away and some chemistry with his line mates. Zacha, of course, had the hat trick in a losing effort against Pittsburgh on Sunday. He scored in back-to-back games for the Bruins, so he's probably worth a shot here as well going into this one. What else do we see on the Boston side here? Muradus Nadinov, I know I'm a broken record, but he is on the top line. There's still, to me, value with him to find the back of the net. Laferriere for the Kings with Byfield and Moore. Now that line's reunited, I think they've looked pretty strong, so Laferriere might be worth a look too on the Kings side here for this game. And Zacha first Bruins goal in back-to-back games, says Jonathan. So there you go. Maybe it's worth that first Bruins goal and first goal of the game sprinkle for Pavel Zacha. Yeah, Terry, good luck. All the best to you. All right, next up, we've got, as we continue along here on this Tuesday slate, Pittsburgh and Carolina. We've got Carolina minus 210, home favorites, 6 the total here in this game. What a comeback that was for Pittsburgh. They're showing a lot of guts, this team, for having Evgeny Malkin suspended for 5 games, having Sidney Crosby out indefinitely, and to be down multiple goals multiple times against Boston on Sunday, and to come back and find a way to win that game. You got to give them lots of credit. They're showing a lot of guts, a lot of mojo, a lot of spirit, this Pittsburgh Penguins team, as they try to maintain their hold on a playoff spot. We'll see how they fare here coming off the 5-4 victory against Boston in overtime, that big comeback win. Meanwhile, you got Carolina off a 4-game road trip back home where they went 2-2. They lost to Seattle. Joey Decords pretty much stole the 2 points. They beat Vancouver and Edmonton in back-to-back games. And then, of course, they lost 5-4 against the Calgary Flames to end that road trip. Now back home, it looks like we are going to see Stuart Skinner in net confirmed here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And it looks as of now that Frederik Andersen is going to be in between the pipes here for the Carolina Hurricanes. Not confirmed yet, but I think Rod Brind'Amour might be starting to see what we're starting to see. Brandon Bussi hasn't been as sharp since the Olympic break, and I think it's a combination of a lot of games under his belt. Teams kind of have an idea what's coming now. And I think you're going to see more of an even split between Anderson and Bussi in between the pipes here, the remainder of the regular season for the Carolina Hurricanes. So it looks like I can confirm, not confirm, but now there's Daily Faceoff does have Frederik Andersen likely. So we can pretty much expect that it is going to be Frederik Andersen here for this game tonight. You look at this game.
He is confirmed, by the way, Anderson.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, it is Anderson here tonight. I don't fully still trust him, but I get it. And Bussi's been a little bit more serviceable here. This is one where at 5.5, I'm betting this thing over for sure. I'm going to wait for it to get there, though. I don't love it at 6.5. The one thing too with Carolina, I know they had some overs on that road trip. I don't think that's going to sit well with Rod Brind'Amour. And the one thing too about the Penguins is prior to that 5-4 game against the Bruins and the 4-3 game against the Flyers, this is a team that was playing some strong under hockey. I don't know. This is one where on the surface I thought it was going to be another over, and I kind of backed off a little bit. but I will bet it live at 5.5 if it shows up. That's kind of where I'm at here with this game. Pregame, nothing on the side for me. I would be on Carolina more if they weren't coming off a road trip. But I do feel they beat Pittsburgh here. I lean Hurricanes. I could only look at the Carolina side here in this game, but just not a good enough price. I will maybe consider a live bet on them if they're trailing, though, at a plus price. Then I'll get involved with Carolina. Team total would be the better route for me with the Hurricanes. Alex, what do you think here? Pittsburgh, Carolina.
I took a small nibble and was based on price with the draw because I got plus 349 offshore at Bet Online. I'm seeing 310s and 305s everywhere else. So it's strictly a price play. It's not one of my favorite draws of the night. But and like I said, you get two teams battling for within the division. Certainly points are at a premium. This is a draw season kind of spot. So at that price, I just went with that. Just simply on that. The overs I'll look for in game, but more than likely it's going to be staying with that draw.
I'm so happy for our friend who joins us on Fridays on this show, David from Raleigh, big Canes fan. He has been betting, it seems like for months, Alexander Nikishin and Sean Walker, these two defensemen for the Hurricanes, to score a goal. And he finally got rewarded if he bet him the last game. They both scored for the Carolina Hurricanes in that last game against Calgary. So well done. Finally, nice to see it finally get home as a winner there for our guy David there with those two. He always said there's great value with Nikishin and Walker. There's $1,200 price plus 1,200 or so to score a goal. We'll let Matt come back and join us when we'll get his thoughts on Pittsburgh, Carolina when he comes back. But for me, as far as props, Mantha and Shinikov, I think, are good for Pittsburgh. They're both bargain bin price worthy, and they both have scored at a pretty good clip of late here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. For Carolina, going into this game, I mean, I would stick with, again, I know Svechnikov, Aho, and Jarvis is their top line, but I prefer getting Ehlers, who's been heating up. I prefer betting him. I'd prefer betting anyone on that second line of Hall, Stankoven, and Blake, which has been playing pretty well lately. So those are definitely some of the goal props under consideration here for me in that game tonight. All right, San Jose, Buffalo. Next up, Buffalo minus 190, home favorites. Actually, minus 200 is what we're seeing at some spots with the Sabres. 6.5 the total here in this game. Alex Lyon and Yaroslav Askarov in net for the Sharks going into this game. I believe on this road trip, by the way, for San Jose, friend of the show, Jason Demers, is working the radio call of the San Jose Sharks games on Sharks Radio with the doppelganger of the late, great Dave Malinsky, who we know as Dan Rusanowski. Who's been the radio voice of the Sharks from, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, everyone knows, if anyone knows, I'm sure most people, a lot of people that listen to this show know who Dave Malinsky was. We lost him way too soon, one of the great pioneers in the sports betting industry. You look at Dave Malinsky and you put a picture of Dan Rusanowski, who calls the Sharks games, right next to him. It's like a twin. The resemblance is ridiculous. But Jason's going to be doing the radio on this trip for the Sharks with Dan. I'm on San Jose early here. First goal, first period money line. Same thing we talked about with Tampa. I think it's going to be very difficult for Buffalo early to get themselves, just emotionally, physically into the game. Coming off what we saw Sunday night, it's going to be very, very tough, in my opinion. And San Jose starting a road trip, I could see them having some jump early. Again, just like the Columbus game, most of my money will be tied up in the early looks. First goal, first period money line. A little small sprinkle on the full game money line at plus 170 with San Jose, but do have a little bit less on that going into this game. But I think early it's a spot for them to maybe pounce early on Buffalo here. And remember, Buffalo had a pretty bad first period Saturday when they played Nashville. Looking ahead to that Tampa game, now you've got the emotional potential hangover following that Tampa game early, and San Jose might be primed to take advantage. I have not touched this total. I'm not going to look at over 6.5. I want to see if that maybe this starts a little bit low and slow, and that maybe we'll get a better total in game. But yeah, Sharks first goal, first period. Sharks first period money line. Smaller dabble on the full game money line. San Jose. Alex, what do you think here? Sharks Sabres.
I am on Sharks first goal, first period, but I also have both teams to score in the first. I got plus 158 with that at FanDuel. I think Buffalo, like I said, kind of in the same vein as Tampa. Okay, they get punched in the face first, but then they come back storming. And it would not shock me one bit with the way the Buffalo is playing that this is the team I trust more off of that big 8-7 win than Tampa Bay. Tampa could maybe kind of slump down and find a way to lose that game. I think Buffalo, the way they're playing right now, and this is we can talk about this matchup particularly going back to when we first met each other. The Sabres would always run San Jose. And this is back in the days when San Jose, when it was Thornton and Marlowe, and those teams were fantastic, and Buffalo was in their loop of a rebuild. Buffalo would be plus 300, plus 400, and find ways to beat San Jose. So they've always seemed to have the Sharks numbered, no matter how good or bad. It's kind of come full circle now where you have the Sabres laying 200. But it would not shock me for them to still be engaged in this game. So Sharks first goal, first period. I got plus 160 with that, but I will be on both teams to score plus 158 as well. And we'll be looking for some live looks in this one.
Yeah, I'm on that too, actually, Jonathan. Jonathan's team total. Yeah, I split money line and team. The full game part of the bet for me is split with that team total over 2.5 minus 124 and that money line plus 170. I do respect the way Lyon's playing, though. He's been really good for the Sabres, but I just don't know if that team in front of him is going to be right on top of things early here in this game. It's easier said than done, right? Being ready from the opening puck drop, coming off what seemed like it was war on ice. That's what it was. Anyone that watched that game Sunday night, it was war on ice with Tampa Bay and Buffalo in that game. And by the way, there was another great image from that game. We showed you the one with Krebs and Hagel. What an unbelievable still photo that was taken of them fighting. There was another great one that I posted, and it's with Matt and Ryan Robinson's good pal, Josh Doan. When Hagel went after Dahlin and started punching him, there's a still image of Doan just racing over to grab Hagel. And it's a great still shot. Terrific. So Doaner has got good teammate mentality there, Matt. Right away to his captain's aid the moment Hagel started attacking him and, punching at him on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. No, that was just unreal game. I know we've already talked about that yesterday and then talked about it a couple times today, but great. One of the best regular season games I've seen in a few years. So definitely a good game. But yeah, I think similar. I think Buffalo should win this game. They're just, I'm not betting against them even at that price. I just think Buffalo is playing really good hockey right now. I could see a little bit of a slower start to this game, but I'm on the over in this one as well. I may wait and bet this live. See if we can get it down to 6, maybe if we don't get a goal in the first couple minutes. What I might do is I might put a little bit of a bet on it pregame and then try and get a double down live at 6 or even 5.5 if we go that far. So I just think both these teams can score goals.
All right, there we go. Like I said, I'm going to maybe look for a live over. We'll see at some point during the game, but I'm not going to take it pregame. As far as props for this San Jose Buffalo game, we've talked about this with San Jose. There's been some good prices lately with a lot of the goal props. As far as Celebrini, by the way, 3 straight games with a goal, and I know Jonathan thinks maybe first goal might be worth a look. Zucker and Doan have both scored in back-to-back games for the Buffalo Sabres. Going into this one as well. I think when you look, too, at Buffalo, Peyton Krebs, still value with him on the top line. For San Jose, Colin Graff on the top line, Michael Misa, Kiefer Sherwood, those 3 players. I'm interested for goal props here as well. So that's definitely a good game for some goal props that I think there's some good value across the board with both squads tonight for goal props in this game. All right, next up, we've got the first of the 2 TNT games tonight. New York Islanders, St. Louis Blues. We've got Islanders minus 120, road favorites. The total here sitting at 5.5 across the board in this game. Islanders with a 2-1 win to rescue one of the 3 games in their California road trip. Now flying and you know what? I'm going back to the well here. This is the same spot I took the Blues against the Islanders, although it was in Long Island that game. But still, it was coming off a little bit of a West Coast sojourn. This is still on the road, obviously, in St. Louis, but I think there's a chance the Blues could pounce early with a first goal, first period look. I like that. I'm going to sprinkle on the full game money. St. Louis is feeling it right now. They are playing some solid hockey right now I don't love this spot here for the Islanders, so I'm going to dabble with Blues first goal, first period, and Blues money line, and a little bit on this draw, too. You do have East versus West. I could see draw potential here. Alex, what do you think? Islanders, Blues?
Not the greatest price. I got plus 305, but I am on that draw. And I also have a bargain bin special from this game as well.
All right, Matt, what do you think here? Islanders, Blues?
I took a shot on the over in this one. It's a TNT broadcast. I know we've looked. It's favorable. It's not quite as hot as it was.
I stopped tracking it, but I know earlier in the year that it was red hot to the over, the NHL on TNT games. Yeah.
Yeah, and even going back to last season, or really when they started doing the TNT games Tuesday. Well, it used to just be Wednesdays. Now we get Tuesday and Wednesday, which is great. I always love the intermission, all that fun stuff with the TNT broadcast. So these two teams, I think, the Islanders are looking for a bounce back. I just feel like this game could get to 6, no problem with these two teams. So over 5.5 is the only play for me. All
right, good stuff there indeed. As far as goal props here in this game, on the Islanders side, you look at their lineup going into Emil Heineman's back on the top line. I like the looks of that. Braden Shen for the Islanders. Again, he's already facing his old team now for the first time, the St. Louis Blues. Why not this be a night for Braden Shen, the new Islander, to get on the board against his old team? Anders Lee, we've talked about. He's been scoring lately. So those are some Islanders props. And there's a bunch I like on the Blues side of the equation going into this game as well. I mean, you look at this game, and the Blues are still looked at and viewed as a bottom feeder. But because of that, you're still getting, for the most part, with a lot of their better players, great prices on their goal props. Like Holloway, if we bet on Holloway, he's on the top line tonight. Dylan Holloway for the St. Louis Blues with Robert Thomas and Jimmy Snuggerud. And so, to me, he's got to be someone you look at. Not bargain bin tonight for Holloway, only plus 275, but it's still a good price. How do you not bet Robert Thomas again? It's plus 320 right now at BetMGM to find the back of the net. The guy is centering the top line. Jimmy Snuggerud's worth a look. He's now scored in back-to-back games for the Blues, heating up, and he's on the top line, plus 340 for Jimmy Snuggerud. I think that's worth a look. Drouin scored his first goal with the Blues the other night. He might be someone to consider as well. But that top line in particular, like, nobody's worse than plus 275 to score a goal tonight. Think about that. They're the top freaking line for a team that's been winning, a team that's been scoring lately. And none of those players are worse than a plus 275 price to score a goal. Holloway, Thomas, and Snuggerud. And in the case of Snuggerud, he's got goals in back-to-back games. Phenomenal value for goal props in my mind here for the St. Louis Blues. Now, they still have to score them, but you can't deny there's great prices available with some of these St. Louis Blues tonight as far as goal props, especially that top line. I mean, nobody's worse than plus 275. I have to do a double take when you see it. As far as not goal props, but goaltending in this game, looks like it's Sorokin and Hofer. Yep, it is confirmed that it is Sorokin. And Sorokin's been kind of up, kind of down lately. He's been good. There's been some great starts, and there's been some mediocre starts from Sorokin of late. So we'll see which version of him steps up here tonight. All right, Vegas Golden Knights, Dallas Stars. Pretty good matchup here. We've got Dallas minus 150 home favorites. The total here sitting at 6 or 5.5 in some spots, 6 at others. So shop around here going into this one. Dallas has become all of a sudden a little bit of an overtrain lately. If you look at this Stars team, I mean, my goodness. And this is, keep in mind, without Rope Hintz, who's now still out. He came back against Colorado. Then as the situation there with McKinnon, which was, a little dicey. And then, of course, he gets injured there and he's out indefinitely. They're still without Mikko Rantanen, of course, long-term, this Dallas team. And yet they've still been able to go over the total. They've still been able to get a fair amount of offense going into this game. So I think that's got a real chance to continue going into this game. Vegas is a mess to me. I mean, they are 1-5 in their last 6 games. The only win was an overtime win against Detroit, where I don't know if that was Vegas coming back or Detroit just sitting back way too much in that game. That's how bad it was. That's how much I think that win is tainted. Detroit really invited Vegas to come back, sitting back that whole third period. I mean, think about that. That's their only win. Vegas in their last 6 games, and it really couldn't have been less impressive. They lose to Washington, they shut out by Pittsburgh, lose to Buffalo, lose back home to Minnesota and Edmonton following that 5-game road trip. I'm on Dallas team total over here in this game as well. Not just the full game over, but I'll take Dallas team total over. I much prefer that price than the minus 150. And look, the goaltending's a disaster. Not disaster. Maybe that's a little harsh, but it's not good. It's not been great with Schmid, who might be in net tonight, and Hill. Both of those guys have been fighting it lately for the Vegas Golden Knights in between the pipes. So, yeah, I'll keep it to just Dallas team total over 3.5. Plus 122 is the price with this at Pinnacle. What a price on that. Plus 122 for that Stars team total. And I also like that full game over 5.5, minus 130 here as well. Alex, what do you think here, Vegas, Dallas?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Grab that team total. I got plus 108 with that over 3.5 with Dallas. I also have a bargain bin special coming from this game as well.
All right, Matty, your Stars. What do you think tonight hosting Vegas?
Yeah, I'm going to be on team total as well as the over by Fecta. 4 of the last 5 games between these teams have gotten actually to 7 or more goals. So giving me the 5.5 price. I think Vegas is not in good form, but this is, become sort of a rivalry over the last couple of years. I wouldn't say it's Dallas's biggest rival, but definitely a team they don't like. And I don't think Vegas likes the Dallas Stars. So I expect them to try and, play well. I think Dallas is in good form right now. You mentioned the injuries, but showing some depth. They've really been rolling, all 4 lines at times. But really those top 2 lines have played really well with the injuries. So I think Dallas gets it done. I may split up the team total and a Dallas 3-way line. It's like right around even money, like minus 105. I think Dallas, they were playing really well. They had that tough loss to the Avs. That was, really a good game overall for just an average hockey fan. They kind of sat back a little bit against the Blackhawks. They were able to get the 2 points like they needed to, but and they sort of dominated play. It was, they were down 2-1 and the shots were 20-6 at one point in favor of Dallas, and they were losing. So, I think those Sunday games can always be a little bit of a laid back a spot, and I expect Dallas to be ready to go for this one Tuesday night at the AAC Vegas in town. So I think they come out rolling. I think we get 2 goals in the first. I think we get 6 goals in the game, and I think Dallas scores at least 4 and wins in regulation. So those will be the 4 plays for me in this game, and then I also have a bargain bin from this game as well.
Jonathan with a good point that the 5 of the last 7 for Dallas have gone past regulation. Yeah, they've become a little bit of an overtime machine of late. Yeah, I think I might add the draw too. I just might, because I'm seeing that, we saw the game in Vegas. The last 2 meetings between them have gone past regulation. They've only met once previously this season. It was in January in Vegas, and it was a 5-4 Dallas win in a shootout. But that's some pretty strong draw current form and some strong enough draw series history. That makes me think the draw might be worth a bet here as well. As far as Vegas, Dallas props in this game, I mean, Matty already mentioned some of the ones. I mean, I'm going to putting on the Ritz one more time. Justin Ritzkovian here, plus 550, back-to-back games with a goal for him. Heiskanen, believe it or not, has scored in back-to-back games as well from the blue line for Dallas. So a couple of props. Maverick Bourque, I like that. Still with the Wyatt Johnston and Jason Robertson top line spot. So that's worth a shot. I know Matt's mentioned Sam Steele before. He's still with Duchesne and Bennett, looks like. So, there's some good value here as far as goal props. And then for Vegas, they haven't been scoring as much lately, but I could see them maybe chipping in here. I still think there's value with Bowman playing with Eichel and Barbashev if it stays that way. Brett Howden's the one I like. Brett Howden looks like he's being bumped up by Bruce Cassidy to the line with Marner and Dorofeyev. So Brett Howden looks like there could be some pretty good value there for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, again, Vegas, it's not only been an issue of defensive play, but, their offense, since the road trip, it kind of cooled off as well. But one thing about Dallas is they've kind of been giving up goals at times of late. So will this be a night for Vegas maybe to get a little something going at the offensive end? It's possible. All right, next up, we've got Utah, Minnesota. It is Minnesota minus 150, home favorites, 6 the total here in this game. I like this draw, definitely. You talk about both of these teams, I think, are going to play some pretty close, tight to the vest hockey here in this game. We saw Minnesota go to overtime against Colorado on Sunday afternoon. It's a back-to-back for Utah. They are off an overtime game against Chicago last night. Back-to-back overtime games for the Mammoth. 3 of the last 8 for the Wild have gone past regulation. So I do think here we have some draw potential as well. I'm going to bet over 6. Again, I'm not totally off Minnesota overs completely yet because I've still not lost 2 in a row. I've had a couple losses with some pushes in between, but I've not lost 2 consecutive overs in a row with Minnesota. But the series history has been over with these 2 teams. You look at it, 5-2, 6-2, 6-1. The last 3 meetings between these 2 teams, all of them going over the total. So I will get in on the over 6 here. The draw, that's pretty much what I'm on pregame. We'll start with Matt on this one. What are you liking here, Matt? Utah, Minnesota.
I could see overtime in this one, so I don't hate the draw play here if you like that. But I got in at 5.5 yesterday on the over in this one. I'm the same boat. Minnesota, they've dropped 2 of their last 4, or they've not hit the over in 2 of their last 4, but the streak itself is still too hot to not take, especially at a 5.5, and especially against a team like Utah that has the capabilities of scoring some goals even on the road. So over 5.5 is it for me on this one.
Yeah. So the crazy over streak has been it's halted the last 4 games, but in the last 4 games it's been under, push under. That's what it's been. So I still have not lost 2 in a row. Bottom line with Minnesota. That's why I haven't jumped off the Minnesota over train yet. If it goes under tonight full game and we finally lose that second consecutive under with a Minnesota game, then I'll jump off. But that's why I'm back on it one more time. Plus, it's 3 straight overs in the series with these 2 teams head to head. Alex, what do you think here? Utah, Minnesota.
Yeah, there's good draw history here with this matchup, but like you said, when teams are on the end of a successful road trip, it could get kind of dicey. So this is one that I'm actually passing. Pre-game, I'm waiting for live looks here, but like I said, if I had to play anything pre-game, it would be the draw. But yeah, Utah, yeah, 8th
that is
game
tough.
in
That is
games.
tough.
That's a lot. It wouldn't shock me one bit to see the Wild maybe pour it on here. So I want to watch this game. Of course, being locally, I'll be watching this one and wait for something in game.
That's a great point. With Utah's schedule really, really, adding up against them here, maybe this could be because Minnesota hasn't played since Sunday. Utah games, 8th game in 14 days. Every other day, travel the last 4. This is a good watch the first period. See what Utah's looking like. Do they have energy? They coming out strong? Do they look like the road legs are not impacting them all that much? If that's the case, then we have a little more confidence with Utah during that game. But then if you see that Minnesota's just all over them, then maybe you get in with something live on Minnesota and you see, this could be a tough night for the Utah Mammoth with maybe the schedule catching up to them a little bit. All right, next up, we've got Anaheim, Winnipeg. Winnipeg minus 135, home favorites. Total here sitting at 6.5, shaded to the under going into this game. Anaheim, I would say pretty easily, the worst game Anaheim's played probably post-Olympic break against St. Louis over the weekend. You could tell they were just not in that game. It was a pretty rough showing, 4-0 shutout loss. They got outshot 34-22. It was just a really bad game from their standpoint. We'll see how they fare here in bounce-back mode. They've won 4 of the last 5 meetings against the Winnipeg Jets. They just beat them in overtime right after the break, 5-4. Now, the Jets have won 3 in a row. So for the Jets, this is a big winning streak. But the Tampa win's a good win, but Chicago, Vancouver, and they needed overtime in those 2 games, Winnipeg, to get the win. How many times have we seen this Anaheim team just after a bad game respond, right? Time and time and time again, they've done it this season. I'll back them again to do it one more time. So I'm on Anaheim here, plus 115 in this game. I think it's wrong team favored. I think Anaheim's capable of going on the road here and winning this game. I'm a little surprised we've got the Jets here, minus 135. What? Because they had a 3-game win streak. Again, 2 of them were against Chicago and Vancouver. We're getting all that wrapped up about a little resurgence here from this Winnipeg Jets team. Not me. So give me Anaheim plus 115. Give me the team total over 2.5, split with that money line. And I have to take the draw here. I do. It's just way too much series history. Winnipeg's going to play for a draw, if this game's close late, because every point's massive for them with any faint hopes they have. 3 of the last 4 have gone past regulation between these two teams. Anaheim has gone past regulation 3 of the last 6 games, and the Jets are on a ridiculous, insane 5 of the last 6 to overtime or a shootout, and 6 of the last 8 games for the Jets have gone past regulation. So, yeah, pretty damn strong draw. I mean, this is a good night for draws. Like, there's a lot of draw bets jumping off the page here. And if we can even hit 2, 3 of them, I'm not even asking to hit 4 or 5 of them. Just give me 2 or 3 of the draws tonight, and it's going to pay out pretty handsomely here on this Tuesday card. Alex, what do you think here? Anaheim, Winnipeg.
Oh, I'm trying to hit all these draw bets, and this is another one I have on my card. Plus 320 was the price that I got. I'm also on Ducks to win, just money line. Plus 123 is still available at BetOnline. Like I said, this is a crazy price. What are like I said, the Jets beating the Hawks and beating the Canucks, and now all of a sudden they're priced as if like, oh, we're back to November, and now the Jets are minus 130
of last year. Jets, yeah,
it's insane. This is the crazy price. So I got Ducks plus 123 money line. Ducks to win in overtime or shootout plus 550 at FanDuel. We're getting a good price with that because of the fact that the Ducks are as big of an underdog, and then the draw plus 320.
Yeah, there we go. Lots to like here. Cutter Gauthier, the Ducks' first goal in 4 of the last 5 games, and of course the only one he didn't. They didn't score a damn goal the whole team in that 4-0 shutout loss to St. Louis. So yeah, Gauthier scored the majority of their goals post-Olympic break. It's pretty crazy to see how much he has been the offense for Anaheim the last handful of games. Matt, what do you think here? Ducks, Jets.
I'm just on the Ducks. Too good of a price. I agree with you, Ian. I think it's reverse here. I think getting a little excited about Winnipeg. There was a lot of shade thrown at Dallas when they were on a 10-game winning streak based on opponents. We're gonna flip that Winnipeg's so back after 3 games. Yeah, I'm going to take the Ducks here. I think they get it done.
Yeah, and by the way, too, there's still some thinness on that blue line for Winnipeg after trading Stanley and Schenn to the Buffalo Sabres. You got Salomonson and Jacob. I'm not a big Jacob Bryson fan. That's a downgrade. There's a reason why Buffalo was willing to trade him. He never stuck with that team, never. So I'm not going to do cartwheels that Jacob Bryson's on my hockey team right now for the Winnipeg Jets. So, like I said, I think that blue line is a little bit weaker right now at this point in time. As far as props for this Anaheim and Winnipeg game, you've got Scheifele, believe it or not, with a 3-game goal scoring streak. Velarde's been good for the Jets as well. We mentioned Gauthier, 4 goals in the last 5, or 4 goals in 4 of the last 5, goals in 7 of the last 10 for the Anaheim Ducks. So I think your goal props need to start with Cutter Gauthier. That is for sure. For Anaheim, I'm looking to see if maybe Coach Q sometimes, and we know Alex knows this, sometimes I have a bad game, a shutout loss like that. There's a little blender action, and the lines get tweaked a little bit, but it looks like we got Kreider, Carlson, Gauthier, Killorn, Granlund, Seneca on the second line, McTavish, Paling, Harkins, Johnston, Washi, and VL on the fourth line here for
that has been one of the bigger changes with Coach Q this year in Anaheim. He hasn't been blending the lines up as much.
No.
Keeping things consistent, knowing that he has a group of his core is very young, and letting them gel and find their way together. So there hasn't been much movement from the old Hawks days or even the Florida days with Coach Q. Bring out that old line blender that we like to call it back in the day.
And it is official, too. By the way, Nemesnikov is out, and John Carlson will not make his Anaheim Ducks debut tonight after that trade with Washington. And last but not least about this game, it is a battle of Olympic representing goalies here in this game tonight officially. Lukáš Dostal, of course, represented Czechia, and the gold medal winning Connor Hellebuck in net tonight for the Winnipeg Jets. All right, we're down to just 2 games left. Nashville, Seattle. We've got pretty much even money here, minus 110. On both sides. The total here sitting at 6 across the board in this one. I haven't bet this yet, but I might. And I don't know. These are 2 teams I'm so wishy-washy on right now. But if I were to lean one way or another, I think Nashville's still the better team. I think that at the moment, I think that. Seattle has now lost 2 in a row at home to the Blues and the Sens, and they didn't look good really in either game. Nashville's coming off a 3-2 loss to Buffalo. Yeah, Nashville's only 1-4 in their last 5 games, but Dallas, Detroit, Columbus, Buffalo, I don't think there's a real bad loss in that group for the Nashville Predators. An awful loss at Buffalo. I would expect them to want to bounce back. It looks like Saros and Grubauer currently are projected in net. Doesn't look like Bobby McMahon will make his Seattle debut after that trade, landing him from the Toronto Maple Leafs. By the way, there was some good Twitter post floating around out there for the great John Forsland that good luck trying to pronounce McCann and McMahon, keeping that straight now for the Seattle Kraken moving forward. I haven't moved on this yet, anything. I haven't moved on a side. I haven't moved on a total in this game, but I'm certainly leaning in the direction of Nashville. Check the Patreon page later when the card is up, and you will see if I get involved in this game officially. Alex, what do you think? Nashville, Seattle.
It's a monster card. You got to pass something, and this is one of the 2 games I'm passing.
Not the worst idea. What do you think here, Matt? Nashville, Seattle.
I just have one bet in this game, and it's the first period over. Both teams are 7-3 to first period overs in their last 10. Shouts to Chris Otto. So yeah, I'm gonna take a shot with that. You know, when 2 teams are rolling like that, just need 2 in the first. So, but yeah, sidewise, I could go back and forth. I could play the home angle. I could play that Nashville, might be playing better hockey right now. For me, it's a tough game to cap because these are 2 teams. That I feel like it's a coin flip who wins this game. So first period over is it for me.
Good stuff indeed. All right, as far as goal props, I got to bet Matthew Wood here for Nashville, 2 games in a row with a goal, and you can get him in that plus 450 range to find the back of the net here for the Predators tonight. So I think that's a really, really good price for him as far as finding the back of the net. And then on the Seattle side, I think it was Freddie Gaudreau, just because he's moving up a little bit to the second line with Stevenson and Tolvanen. So a little bit of an adjustment there from Lane Lambert. I think trying to get, again, the offense back on track, because, again, the last couple of games they haven't been scoring nearly as much. You get that through the course of the season with Seattle. How many offensive lulls have they had this season? Certainly many. So maybe a little value there on the Seattle side with Freddie Gaudreau simply moving up to the second line. All right, last game for this massive Tuesday card, and we end it with a national TV game, and a good one on TNT. We hope it is anyway. It's got the potential to be a great game. Edmonton, Colorado. We've got Colorado minus 170, home favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. So finally, for the first time in 13 Oilers games, the game stayed below 6.5 goals. Barely. It ended 4-2 Edmonton, their win against Vegas on Sunday night. But the first game in 13 for the Oilers that stays fewer than 7 goals. That being said, I don't jump off a streak until I lose 2, but I'm not betting it pregame. Not at 6.5 minus 150, because we're seeing over 6.5 minus 150, and some books have 7 here with the total for Oilers and Avs. I'm going to wait for this to drop a little bit pregame and get better prices. I will have an over by Fecta in game during the first period. Wait for these prices to drop a little bit. Sometimes the gut overrides your head. And the gut is telling me Edmonton could be live tonight. I've just got that weird suspicion. They got a win they desperately needed against Vegas. They're all talking it. McDavid, Leon, the coach, Hyman, you name it. This is a statement road trip for us, playing the heavyweights, Vegas, Colorado, Dallas. They have Dallas after this too. The Edmonton Oilers. It's time to put up or shut up. It's time to show what kind of team we can be and the team we think we're capable of. I expect a great effort from Edmonton. I lean to them at the big dog price, honestly. I think they're alive. But my one concern is Ingram was definitely, look, let's just cut to the chase. Ingram right now is playing better than Jari at the moment. It has to be Connor Ingram right now. And I'm not saying Connor Ingram is the next coming of Grant Fuhr and Dwayne Rolison and all these great Oilers goalies of the past. But he is giving you stabilized goaltending compared to Jari, who's been a mess ever since he arrived with Edmonton. So he's given you more of a chance. Ingram, I thought he played pretty solid against Vegas. The one fear about reading too much, though, into Ingram, while I think he's the better option right now than Jari, is he faced Vegas, who are not scoring at the moment. Their offense has been disappointing. Now you're facing this, Colorado team in their building that can light it up at any given moment. So this is the greater test for this Edmonton team. How much have you come of age defensively? Was that just a one-off that you finally played a good defensive game, that you got saves from Ingram against Vegas? Or can you show it again tonight against a much more dangerous opponent? Because right now, Colorado is a more dangerous opponent right now than Vegas. So I'm kind of going back and forth. I will sprinkle on Edmonton because I do think in the pit of my gut that this is a team that's going to show up tonight, although I am petrified still about the defensive game and whether it can resonate for a second straight game tonight against a more dangerous Avs team compared to Vegas in their last game. So I'll keep the Oiler bet small. I will bet over by Fecta. Can't bet it pregame, though. I mean, the prices are just sky high. I mean, 7 at some books with the total. The cheapest 6.5 you can get is like -150. So I'm going to wait in game for the overs. Alex, what do you think here? Final game, good one. TNT, late night, Edmonton, Colorado.
This will be one to watch and wait for something live. Like you said, wait for maybe those totals to drop and just kind of see, okay, Edmonton's talking all of this about this is, a big time statement. We need to step up and play well.
Talk is nice, do is better.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to see how they come out early in this game. So being a TNT game, this is one to watch and wait for. Nothing pregame for me.
All right, Matt, what do you think here for TNT, Oilers Avalanche?
Definitely excited to watch this game. I agree with all the sentiment. I think, these prices are super inflated. I do think we get a high scoring game between these two teams, but what I'm going to do, it's a little bit of an altered same game parlay just as a small bet pregame, and then I'm going to try and double down on first period full game over in game. But I did over 1.5 over 6 and got +104. So a little bit of an altered same game parlay, just given that on a lot of books this is already at 7. No reason to go all the way down to 5.5 and have juice on it. +104 seems like a decent price. I think we get over 6 goals in the game. So I'll do a little bit small on that, just on the off chance we get a goal in the first minute or two. At least I've got something in hand, and then hopefully wait and get a better price on the over by Fecta in game.
Good stuff indeed. So, yeah, Connor Ingram, no surprise. I mean, the moment he beat Vegas and Edmonton beat Vegas with Ingram, you knew that Chris Knobloch was going to start Ingram tonight in this big game. I mean, that's how disappointing. Jari is on the verge of losing a number 1 spot with his new team to Connor fucking Ingram. That's where we're at with Tristan Jari right now. I mean, that tells you how stunningly disappointing it's been here for Jari as a member of the Edmonton Oilers since he's been there.
I said it last spring. He needs to brush up on his Russian, get some Duolingo, because his time in North America is possibly coming to a close. If he struggles here, then what happens down the road?
Yeah. Jari spat with teammates at practice. I did not hear that. Usually I keep up with everything news related. I did not hear that, Rich. He did? Wow. Yeah, that's not good. That's the last thing. He needs to keep his damn mouth shut. You have nothing to say if you're Tristan Jari. You can't be. What would he have to say right now at this point?
Nostrovia.
Yeah.
That's what he had to say.
That's pretty much. I got it. I'm just seeing this now. I assumed it's wow. Let me just see. Let me see the schedule here in the NHL. We've got obviously this huge card tonight. Tomorrow is a light card, and I do not see Colorado playing on it tomorrow. They're in Seattle next on Thursday. This is obviously Edmonton coming in, and yet Mackenzie Blackwood's in net. What are you doing, Bednar? What the fuck are you doing, man? He is not the better goalie right now on your team. Scott Wedgwood. Anybody with 2 eyes can see that. Why is Blackwood getting this game? I think that strengthens the case for Edmonton here. Give me the team total. Give me the team total over for Edmonton right now. After seeing, I don't like where Blackwood's at right now. He is scared shitless of the Dallas Stars. You don't even bring him to AAC next time you play there. That guy is a puddle waiting to happen in Dallas. He's still seeing ghosts of Game 7 in the third period last year in the first round. He's not right at the moment, Blackwood. I can't believe this. With no back-to-back, and you're putting Blackwood in there when Wedgwood's clearly outplaying him right now? No. Give me Edmonton over 2.5 here. Actually, no, I'm not going to bet it. It's -170. I'm going to wait for it in game to drop a little bit.
You get flat 3 Maybe
Yeah,
the
flat,
three at
maybe a little
MGM.
flat 3 dabble pregame, and we'll add more at the 2.5 here. Wedgwood's the better goalie right now, and yet here's Blackwood for
Minus 115 for that flat 3 at MGM.
Yeah, just ask Matt Robinson, about Wedgwood. That's when the game turned for Colorado against Dallas on Friday night. When Wedgwood came into the game, he put up a brick wall from that point on and led Colorado back. And then he played great against Minnesota. I thought he was great Sunday afternoon against Minnesota. I don't get this, but I'm not the coach. And I like Bednar. I got nothing against Bednar. He's good. He's a little he doesn't have the fire and brimstone like some other coaches do. But yeah, that's putting it mildly if you listen to one of his press conferences. But I don't get this right now at this point in time. Blackwood was good early in the year. He was good for a lot of last year, but the playoff series was rough, and his recent play a little bit rough right now. So a little surprised. All right, as far as goal props here for this Edmonton and Colorado game, Podkolzin back-to-back games with a goal for Edmonton. I like that. I'll ride the wave with Nick Waugh for Colorado. He scored in his Avs debut. We'll see if maybe he can find the back of the net one more time here tonight in this game. That's pretty much about it as far, I kept it pretty light as far as goal props. Landeskog's out again. Kadri is with McKinnon and Natchez tonight. That's very interesting. I think Kadri I might look toward getting that spot up there on the top line for the Colorado Avalanche tonight. And that's the funny thing is Kadri you can put him in any different situation, center, wing. He can be flexible. And it looks like he might be with McKinnon and Natchez here tonight on the top line for Colorado. All right, shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. Huge card tonight. As you can tell, I like it quite a bit. Let's hope the results follow with how strongly I feel about this card here tonight. Make sure you check out wizardsportspicks.com. Great time of year. Wall-to-wall college basketball, conference tournaments this week, NCAA tournament next week, NHL, NBA as well, MLB right around the corner. So check it out, wizardsportspicks.com. Still number one ranked for me, NHL and college basketball on the website. Patreon.com/IceGuys, $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts, daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. The $50 off Dub Club discount is still available with me for all Patreon Ice Guys members. That's posted on the page as well. So make sure you check it out. Again, your membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. We've got tons of live betcasts coming up once March Madness ends. So looking forward to that as well. Again, get on board if you haven't already. Just $10 per month. Patreon.com/IceGuys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. It's a great time to pick up a hoodie, pick up a t-shirt, pick up a cap. We like a lot of draw plays tonight. We've got draw season merch all throughout the store. So check all of that out right now over at the Ice Guys store. That's iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, check out the Ice Guys store. And yes, this is the time of year to get a draw season merch. And this is what draw season was made for, a card like this, where so many games with the draw are jumping off the page. And we're not alone. Chris Otto said it in the chat. His draw meter was humming going into this card here tonight. So hopefully we got some draw winners ready to rock. All right, we got Bargain Bin Special of the night and Best Bets ready to rock in just a moment, right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
All right, Bargain Bin Special of the night, a massive 13-game slate to choose from. And as you would have expected, extremely difficult. Very, very difficult to keep this to two bargain bins tonight. But we did. somehow. Alex, we'll start with you. Bargain bin special of the night.
Yeah, we got a pair of them. First, we start in the gateway city, St. Louis, taking on the New York Islanders, and a guy who's moving up into the lineup on that second line for the Blues, Otto Stenberg. You get him plus 600 at FanDuel, so that would be my first bargain bin special. Otto Stenberg of the St. Louis Blues, anytime goal plus 600. Second bargain bin special, we go to Big D. You got Dallas and Vegas, and like I said, that's definitely, I would say, one of the better emerging rivalries over the last couple of years. We cashed with them the other night. Let's go right back to the well with Maverick Bork, anytime goal scorer, plus 370 at DraftKings, the best price available for Dallas. So we'll go Otto Stenberg for St. Louis and Maverick Bork for Dallas. Anytime goals for both of them. So my bargain bin specials was Tuesday night.
All right, good stuff there. Matt Robinson, what do you got for us? Bargain bin special of the night.
Yeah, so my bargain bin, I have two as well, given the 13-game card. So first one, we're going to go out to that Toronto-Montreal game. We like a lot of goals here in the game in general, but I think it was pretty unanimous about Montreal team total being a good look, and thinking that Montreal is going to score some goals on Toronto in this game. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Oliver Kapanen, anytime goal plus 340. He has only scored 3 in his last 8 games, but he's on that second line. He gets power play time. If Montreal scores 4 or 5 goals, why not Oliver Kapanen tonight? So that will be bargain bin number 1. Bargain bin number 2, we will go out to the American Airlines Center for the Vegas-Dallas game. As Alex just mentioned, it is a bit of a rivalry. One guy that definitely understands that rivalry is the captain, Jamie Benn. He's rolling on power play 1 with the injuries to Hintz and Rantanen. He's got goals in 2 of his last 3. There's the Mark Stone incident. There's, a number of things that Jamie Benn's been a part of between these two teams, multiple playoff series. And he's playing some of the best hockey I've seen him play in the last couple of years on that line with Duchesne and Steele. Give me Ben anytime goal plus 340 for the captain to score one tonight for the Dallas Stars.
We go. Like it. Bet there. As far as those two make a lot of sense. Liking both of those that Matt gave out for bargain bin special. And I've got 2. I'm going to go to Calgary, New York Rangers. This kid's had a lot of chances and finally saw one go in for the Flames last night against the Washington Capitals. And I think Calgary will score some goals tonight against Quick and a Ranger team that I don't trust them to have 2 good defensive games in a row. They rarely do have those. Matt Gridden for Calgary, plus 450 at DraftKings. That'll be my first bargain bin special of the night. And the second one will go to the Islanders and Blues game. And I am going to go to Jimmy Snuggerud, looking to make it 3 straight games with a goal for the St. Louis Blues. Very good price, plus 340, as he looks to make it 3 in a row. And he's still on the top line as well with Holloway and Thomas. So Jimmy Snuggerud, St. Louis, plus 340 for my second bargain bin special here for this Tuesday night. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
Listen, we talk about draw season, and this is the height of it. And what better matchup to have than 2 teams who have gone past regulation 7 straight times in one city? That, of course, being the LA Kings at the Boston Bruins. We would get that draw plus 319. The price that I got over at BetOnline. That is my best bet tonight.
Good stuff. There we go. I think that's a good night to have a draw as a best bet. I agree. There's a lot of great options out there as far as the draw, and Alex is going with one of them for best bet here tonight. Matt, what do you got for best bet?
Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth. There's obviously a lot of great looks tonight going through every game, but got to stick with what I know. I'm going to go to that Dallas-Vegas game. Dallas has hit 5 first-period overs in a row, 3 straight head-to-head overs between these 2 teams. Dallas is 6-2 to over 5.5 in their last 8. Vegas has been over 5.5 in 3 straight games. Give me Dallas, Vegas over 5.5. I think Dallas is susceptible to giving up goals early, especially against teams like Vegas or other Western Conference rivals, and they are playing good hockey as well. So I think we see 6 in this one way or another. So Dallas, Vegas over 5.5. That'll be my best bet tonight.
All right, good stuff there. Dallas, Vegas over 5.5 for Matt Robinson with best bet. My best bet, Let's go with that Leafs-Canadiens game. Over 6.5, minus 125 is the best price out there. I think it's just a back-and-forth kind of game. 4-3, 5-4 for somebody. I think the Leafs are going to play them tough. I don't know about win, but I do think both teams get their goals, and it's a fun, exciting game tonight between the original 6 rivals. So we'll go with Toronto, Montreal, over 6.5, minus 125 for my best bet here for this Tuesday NHL slate. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. What a show and what a card tonight. Looking forward to it. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms. For Alex B. Smith and Matt Robinson, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We're back on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern for another edition of the Ice Guys.